The boy from Maggie das Cruzes. The streets of Maggie das Cruzes weren't made for dreams. They were cracked and narrow, framed by aging buildings and the scent of grilled corn. But for a boy named Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., they were enough. With no stadium lights, no roaring crowds, and no polished grass. Only the rhythm of a ball against concrete. A star began to flicker in the shadows. Neymar was born in 1992, the son of a father who once chased the same dream but never reached its summit. Neymar Sr. knew what it felt like to almost make it, and more painfully what it felt like to fail. So when his son showed flashes of brilliance, he didn't clap. He coached. He corrected. He planned. Money was scarce. The family lived humbly, sometimes surviving on the edge of eviction. A single room, a shared mattress, flickering lights. But in every corner of that small space, hope echoed, loud and unrelenting. Neymar's mother, Nadine, worked long hours to keep food on the table, while his father balanced multiple jobs and still made time to train him in the evenings. When Neymar touched a ball, time bent around him. On futsal courts and dusty fields, he danced. Not played, danced. He was thin, almost fragile, but defenders couldn't lay a hand on him. His feet spoke a language older than tactics, joy. His imagination, wild and untamed, turned simple passes into performances. Those who watched him didn't see a child, they saw a future. At the age of 11, that future found a doorway. Santos FC, the same club that once raised Pelé, offered Neymar a place in their youth academy. The opportunity was monumental, but it came with a cost. Relocation. The family packed what little they owned and moved to São Vicente, closer to the club. There was no guarantee, just a belief, one that gripped them tightly and refused to let go. At Santos, Neymar was different. Coaches noticed his fearless dribbling, his ability to read space, and most of all, his joy. While others played to win, Neymar played to live. He didn't crave applause, he created it. Yet, with every goal he scored, with every defender he humiliated, a quiet pressure began to grow. Whispers in the academy halls turned into expectations. Could this be Brazil's next great hope? By the time he was 14, European clubs had started circling. Scouts from Real Madrid watched him closely. The boy from Maggi wasn't just a local sensation. He was a commodity. But Neymar wasn't chasing fame. Not yet. All he wanted was to play, to prove that his family's sacrifices meant something. That their hunger had fed more than just his body, it had built his spirit. The boy had made it to the doorstep of greatness. What waited on the other side was still unknown. But the world was about to find out that this kid didn't just play football. He told stories with every touch. The rise of a star. At just 17, Neymar pulled on the white jersey of Santos' senior team and stepped onto the pitch like he had been there his whole life. The crowd didn't quite know what to expect from the skinny teenager with dyed hair and a cheeky grin. That changed the moment he touched the ball. He wasn't just fast, he was fluid. His movements were unpredictable, electric. He didn't play by the book, he played by instinct. Brazil took notice. In a nation obsessed with flair, Neymar was more than exciting, he was poetic. The comparisons came fast. Ronaldinho's creativity, Romario's sharpness, Pelé's legacy. Overnight, Neymar became a symbol, not just a player. And symbols carry weight. The goals flowed, curling free kicks, dazzling solo runs, no-look finishes. By 2011, he had led Santos to their first Copa Libertadores title since the days of Pelé. The world began to see him not as a prospect, but as a phenomenon. But stardom is rarely gentle. With fame came the flood media interviews, brand deals, pressure. He became a teenage millionaire, followed by cameras and critics. His signature mohawk became a fashion trend. His celebrations became memes. He couldn't breathe without headlines dissecting every move, every word, every fall. The boy who played for joy was now expected to carry the legacy of a nation. Behind the smile, doubts began to form. Was he being shaped by his passion or by the expectations of millions? Every missed goal brought a wave of outrage. Every celebration was called arrogance. Suddenly, every step forward came with a pushback. Then came the crossroads. In 2011, Real Madrid offered a golden path. A place in Europe's elite, millions more in salary, and a global platform. Neymar refused. He chose to stay at Santos. Some called it loyalty. Others called it fear. But the truth was simpler: he wasn't ready to leave home. Still, the pressure didn't ease. That same year, he struggled during the Copa America. Brazil crashed out. Critics sharpened their knives. "He's just style, not substance," they said. "All flash, no steel." Neymar stayed silent. He went back to Santos and kept working. His touch grew sharper. His decision-making improved. He became not just a showman, but a strategist, learning when to dazzle and when to deliver. And yet, as he matured on the pitch, a new conflict emerged. Brazil's desperation for a hero. The golden generation had faded. The World Cup loomed, and all eyes turned to Neymar. A boy with flair in his feet and a nation's hope on his shoulders. The spotlight that once lit him up was beginning to burn. The weight of gold. In 2013, Neymar made the leap. He signed with FC Barcelona, joining one of the most formidable football dynasties in history. It was the move the world had anticipated and feared. Now he would stand alongside Lionel Messi, a living legend, and Luis Suarez, a predator in front of goal. Three superstars. One pitch. Only so much spotlight. The trio became known as MSN, a holy trinity of attack. Together, they tore through defenders and demolished records. In 2015, Neymar scored in the Champions League final. Barcelona lifted the trophy. It seemed like the boy from Brazil had finally arrived at the summit. But beneath the surface, something cracked. Playing beside Messi brought prestige, but it also brought shadows. No matter how many goals Neymar scored, no matter how dazzling the performance, he remained second. The media praised Messi. The fans adored him. Neymar? He was brilliant, yes, but never the star. The hunger inside him began to shift. It wasn't just about joy anymore. It was about legacy. As the world saw smiles and celebrations, Neymar wrestled with questions behind closed doors. Was he content being part of something great, or did he need to lead something himself? The whispers started again about PSG, about becoming the face of a club, about stepping out of Messi's shadow. But before the decision came, pain struck. The 2014 World Cup, in his home country, was supposed to be Neymar's crowning moment. He dazzled in the group stages. The nation rallied behind him. Then, in the quarterfinals against Colombia, he fell. A brutal knee to the back fractured a vertebra. The stretcher rolled him off as Brazil's hopes dimmed. He wept, not from pain, but from the weight of a dream slipping away. Without him, Brazil suffered a historic 7-1 defeat to Germany. It wasn't just a loss. It was a national trauma. Neymar watched from a hospital bed, helpless and haunted. He returned to Barcelona a few months later, physically healed but mentally scarred. On the field, he remained electric. Off it, he seemed distant. He had fame, fortune, and fans, but something was missing. Then, in 2017, the earth shifted again. Paris Saint-Germain triggered his €222 million release clause, the most expensive transfer in football history. Neymar left Barcelona. Some said he was chasing greatness. Others claimed he was running from something. He insisted it was about writing his own story. But as he arrived in Paris, questions followed close behind. Could he lead? Could he handle the pressure alone? Was he truly prepared to trade comfort for control? The answers would come. But not all answers bring peace. As Neymar walked through the gates of PSG, he smiled for cameras, waving to fans. But behind the flashbulbs and confetti, a new weight settled on his shoulders. Heavier than money, heavier than fame. It was the weight of